So this story came out about 2 weeks ago about Jungin's adoptive mother finally being sentenced to jail. Her adoptive father was also sentenced to jail. This news broke while I was taking my hiatus from YouTube, so I hadn't made a video about it, and the news is a little bit old now. However, I thought I would share my views on the matter. Anyway, now if you'd like to know the full detailed story in English, I recommend checking out Korea Ali's video. He did an amazing job with the research and putting everything together. It's very explanatory, has all the details. So if you want to know the full story about that, you can check that out. I believe I'm putting it somewhere up here. If I can't figure out how to add somebody else's video as one of the YouTube cards, then it'll be down in the description below. Anyway, on Friday, May 14th, about a couple of weeks ago, Jungin's mother was sentenced to life in jail, while the father was sentenced to about 5 years in jail. Now, this is actually quite surprising, and no, not in a bad way. I know a lot of people around the world and here in Korea wish that they would both get death sentences, but I don't think those people are quite familiar with the murdering sentences done in Korea, and for that matter, Japan as well. Korea and Japan are notorious for giving extremely light sentences when it comes to murder. So the fact that Jungin's mother actually did get life in jail is actually quite a good sentence, and it kind of shows that the judicial system is becoming stricter and more punitive. Now, the father only getting 5 years, again, some people may be shocked by that considering he was an accomplice. He knew it was going on. He allegedly even filmed some of the abuse and put it online. He only received 5 years in jail. Now, that might be quite weak in terms of Western standards. However, in, again, Korea and Japan standards, some people get 5 years in jail for first-degree murder. And we saw that Cho Do-soon murdered a guy, beat him to death after getting into a fight. He only got 2 years jail time for that. Now, granted, the man he did beat to death was in his 60s, I believe. So I guess you can argue that, killing a baby is much worse than killing a man in his 60s. And I would agree to that. However, my point is that in Korea and Japan, weak sentences are usually given out for murder, but just being an accomplice in this case, he got 5 years. So that could have been a little bit stronger, yeah. But I'm very satisfied with the mother getting life in jail. Something I'm curious about, though, is what's actually going to happen to their biological child. Remember that couple actually did have a biological child together before adopting Jungin. I'm not sure what's going to happen to that child. Maybe it's going to be raised by the grandparents, or it's going to, go into child services. I'm not entirely sure. However, again, I am, I'm quite satisfied with these sentences. It should be noted that if it wasn't for the TV show Kugo Algo Shipta, there's a high chance that those sentences would have been lighter. The fact of the matter is this case actually happened at some point last year. However, people didn't start knowing about it that well, and public outcry wasn't there until that show Kugo Algo Shipta, which, I've talked about it before. A lot of YouTubers that discuss these, crime cases usually reference that TV show. If it wasn't for them, much lighter sentences probably would have been given. However, since there was a lot of public outcry both here in Korea and abroad, and that's thanks to one of the BTS members also participating in the I'm Sorry Jungin kind of awareness campaign, their sentences would have been a lot less. So again, overall, I think, public opinion aside, I think this shows that Korea is going in the right direction. We can see that with Jungin's mother getting the life sentence. We can also see that with Gakat and Jojubin also receiving strict punishments. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think Gakat got 35 years and Jojubin got 40 years, roughly around there, more or less. And if you don't know already, they are the creators of The Nth Rooms and Baksabang, or Doctor's Room. So I think we're seeing a kind of a positive trend here with the legal system giving stricter punishments towards these crimes, and I'm all for that. Yes, you may argue that, Korea still has a long way to go in getting more appropriate punishments for these crimes, but, comparing it to 10, 15 years ago, we are absolutely going in the right direction. Cho Do-soon, I don't need to introduce him. Go check out the video if you haven't. Beat and raped an 8-year-old girl, left her for dead after already living a life of crime. He was sentenced to 12 years in jail, and that was back in 2008. Roughly 2008. Yeah, it must have been 2008 because he got released in 2020, just a couple of months ago or half a year ago now. So if you take a look at the crime like that and you compare it and that punishment and you compare it to these crimes and punishments, we're clearly headed in the right direction. And, that obviously this is a sad case with Jungin, a baby beaten, tortured, and abused to death. However, I can say that I'm happy that these punishments are getting stricter. So that's all for today. I'll catch you guys next time.